Okay, you're ready.
So I'll be just focusing
Yeah, so
to
we'll
get
just
your
talk.
pictures on you.
Great. Well, Tika, thank you very much for joining us today. If you could just introduce yourself.
Thank you for inviting me to do this interview. I'm Tika Limbu. I've been here for over 13 years now. I was serving in the light infantry, just over the barracks in Edinburgh. So when I retired, the family loved the city and the country, so we decided to stay on.
Right. And you're originally from Nepal, right?
I was born in Hong Kong, where my father was serving, but as at the early age, I was taken back to Nepal, and my boyhood I spent in a village as a typical boys in village life, between school and working in a farmland.
And when did you join the military? Was that?
That was long ago, 1979.
Right.
But time flies.
Mm-hmm.
So spent best part of my life in the military, but I have a very interesting life. Fortunately, although I joined as a Gurkha soldier, I had the opportunity to serve with other regiments like Elite Parachute Regiment, Royal Ice Rangers, the light infantry that are called now rifles, including the local regiment Royal Scot. So I have an interesting and fantastic career in the military.
Mm-hmm. And was it, so you came to Scotland through the military?
Yes, I was serving in the barracks, so when I retired in 2006, we decided to carry on our life. And family loved it as well.
Yeah.
We liked the fantastic Highlands, city of Edinburgh, so we're happy so far.
Great. What were your kind of initial experiences like when you came to Scotland?
It was a bit of a nervous and excitement, both. Excitement, I always like challenges. New things is opportunity for me. So in that term, I was excited. Nervous coming out of the perimeter from the military. The civil street was completely unknown. So that was the nervousness. But so far, it's treating me well.
And were you stationed anywhere else before you came to Scotland?
The battalion was in Cyprus, so when our tour in Cyprus finished, the battalion came to the Redford Infantry Barracks. But before that, I had opportunity to based in many countries across the globe.
Right. What were your kind of early social life, lifestyle experiences like when you came here?
It was a new territory, but I kept in touch with the regiment I served, so they invited me to the military type of social connections. But I quickly ventured out as my interest, so I joined some of the organizations, particularly ethnic minority organizations, Nepalese organizations. So I made a very quick progress in that term, that social connections was pretty good as soon as I got out of the military life. But having said that, in terms of job, I needed time to find out exactly what am I capable of, what would be my long-term career. So that was sort of a little bit of a challenge, yes.
Sure. And your family, they came with you when you were stationed here?
Fortunately, my children, they joined us in the UK, in England, in 1997. So they were versed in terms of the educations and the schooling. And my wife had also joined during my transitions. So she was fairly well experienced in terms of finding job and coping herself. So perhaps we've been luckier than some of my countrymen or my counterparts.
Okay. And did you, when you first arrived, have you got any experiences of kind of discovering Scottish culture? Any stories, perhaps, of anything that surprised you, or?
Because I was already had served with the Scottish soldiers, the Scottish regiment, and they had passed me some of this cultural heritage side. The language was quite a challenge to understand initially, particularly Highlands. But in terms of tattoos, tartans, all this, fantastic, drinking culture, I was okay.
And do you see any similarities between your own cultural background and Scotland?
I do. Some of the culture, like family bond, they have a strong family bond, whereas we always look after and rely on families from cradle to the grave. So in that sense, yes, I felt connected. And geographically, the country has many beautiful hills, and we love camping and hiking. So the other culture, because we still, are learning in terms of history and the deeper culture, yes, but we didn't find difficult to adapt into their culture and heritage.
When you first arrived, how welcome did you feel in Scotland?
From my military experience, the Scottish soldiers always welcomed the Gurkha soldiers. So in that view, wherever I went to pub in the Civvy Street in Leith and Edinburgh, if they see me as ex-soldiers, former soldiers, they would always welcome. So in that term, it's been fantastic. But Edinburgh is a very diverse and mixed city, so I'm still learning. But I didn't feel any struggle in that sense, because there are plenty to see and do and get along. And I believe it depends on the individual as well. If you're open-minded and respectful, and people return the same in the same manner, I would say the same style.
Did you have anything that was particularly difficult when you first arrived?
I did, particularly when I was working as a support worker through agency. I had opportunity to go around the care sector. Their ethos and working style was a challenge for me,
Right.
coming out of military,
Sure.
adapting into their way of modus operandi. It was a bit of a challenge, yes.
Right. And was there anything that was particularly enjoyable, that's something that really sticks in your mind?
Enjoyable in a sense that I, due to my nature of open-mindedness, they always happy to advise me, gave me support. So yes, I appreciated that.
I know that you've done, since leaving the military, you've done a lot of work with the local community. What inspired you to get involved in that kind of work?
I think it's on my DNA. I love to help people, and I get excited if there's anything, new things, I get excited. So I think that's the very thing take me to, just outside the box, and reach out whenever there are opportunities. And I'm still enjoying. There are some challenges and hassles. It's very difficult to keep up and have the outcomes of the actions as volunteer, as you would have realized yourself as well. Yeah.
Do you think your heritage has impacted in your career, so both in the military and afterwards?
I do. I was taught by my parents to be a good boy, discipline and respect are the key heritage I learned from my parents, and hard work. You could imagine the village life in Nepal. You've been yourself.
Yeah.
So that taught me to not to mind the hard work, and survival is my key instinct.
Do you think those experiences have shaped your success?
I do,
Yeah.
yes. The focus and hard work, although we don't understand very much in terms of goal in the military, but discipline, hard work always was the key things that drove me to achieve some of the things I wanted.
And are there any achievements that you are particularly proud of?
I wouldn't say proud of, but I'm happy of what I achieved through my military career. Have a good pension. And I have had opportunity to serve with multinational forces as part of military operations, as well as peacekeeping forces in the various regions and countries. So that gave me to expand my horizon, to see the other culture, people from other cultures, religions, and different political ideologies and cultural ideologies as well. So that my learning, I would say, I'm most happiest about.
Great. And I know at the moment we're currently sitting in the soon to be hopefully a new Himalayan Centre in Edinburgh, and that's something you're working towards at the moment.
This is our dream. Although we have had struggles and challenges, it's been going on for more than 5 years, but we haven't given up, and we could see a light at the end of the tunnel. So that means in 1 year time, hopefully we could see our dream come true. And we're optimistic. And this centre, as a community hub in the centre and the heart of the Edinburgh city, we want to make this as a launch pad and eventually turn into social enterprise and work together as part of mainstream society.
Great.
So that's our bigger goal, I would say.
And in your life at the moment, do you engage with family and people from both Scottish heritage, from Nepalese heritage?
Plenty,
yeah.
plenty through military connections. And since I'm retired, I always try and work outside the box. Although the communities are pretty quiet and engaged in their own career and setting up their home and family life, I would always encourage them to come out and be part of the community, where we could learn a lot in a social platform, and it is making sense now. So hopefully, people are realizing slowly. Right. It takes time. We are a new settlement, new community in this place, in this country. But yes, it is an ongoing project.
How are you finding family life in Scotland at the moment?
Very interesting question. Good.
Yeah.
And sometime when you're working as a community member, leader, family life becomes a little bit of sort of imbalance. But families are great. Wife's working. The boys are adult now.
Right.
One has moved on. One is ticking the box. So good so far.
I know are your sons still in Edinburgh, or
they are? Yes. One. Both are, one is in Fife but works in Edinburgh. Just got married. Has a house, and yes, he's carrying on with his own life. The other one's trying his own self-employment at the moment and working as a part-time. So we're all okay. We're fine.
Good. Can I ask if there's any aspects of Scotland that are particularly important to you or that you feel like you most relate to?
I too, mainly my military connections. I sit on membership and board to some of the regimental organizations and the other local organizations as well. The connections, the Gurkhas have been in the British Army for more than 200 years, and we have really special relationship with, particularly with the Scottish military, Scottish Army, and my regiment itself is affiliated to Royal Scot. So yes, I do feel part of the community and part of their part of the history, I would say.
So it sounds like the kind of military background you have helped with settling in Scotland and everything. Yeah.
Indeed. And as I said earlier, I'm always keen to explore the new opportunities. So Edinburgh is a vibrant, beautiful city, so it's giving me lots of opportunity, but haven't been able to grab all the opportunities yet. Right. So hopefully there'll be time. I would be happier.
Great. And are there any aspects of your own heritage that you particularly want to hold on to or celebrate?
I do, particularly the heritage, the cultural and traditional aspect, respecting to elders and be part of the family, working together, good discipline, hard work, do well in education. All these are Nepalese culture, shall I say, heritage as well. What our upbringing will teach us. So I do not want to forget where I'd come from and who am I. I am foremost, I'm Nepali, although I have British citizen. And I want to pass on to the coming generations, my children, the same ethos, same heritage that I see as positive rather than, weaknesses.
Absolutely. And do you manage to get back to Nepal at all?
Every 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's so far. Take our children as well. Yeah. Just to keep them where the flavor. Not to disconnect them from their true identity, their heritage, culture, and tradition, and we're also helping our relatives and families back in Nepal. Right. So, yes, that's important.
Great. And do you feel Scottish or part of Scottish society?
I do. Yes. Why? Because I feel privileged. We're welcome here. Had it been other countries, that may not have been the case. So I feel I have the duty to be part of the society, part of the community, and want to be integral part of the mainstream society, and do my best and encourage others from my community, particularly young generation, to have that sense of integration.
Does that a feeling that came along gradually, or was it quite when you first arrived? Did you already feel straight away that
it came off gradually? It's a learning step, and it's a never-ending story. But learning and development is key to this bigger concept, I would say. And hopefully the Nepalese communities will not be isolated or feel lonely when they are part of the big society.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if your feelings about Scotland have changed at all over the years.
Mixed feeling.
Mm-hmm.
The colleagues I work, there are a lot of foreigners as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hear this little bit confused, sort of nervousness, so it does have effect on me as well.
Mm-hmm.
When we are working as a team. But in a bigger picture, the Scotland I see as pretty welcoming country.
Mm-hmm.
All things might happen, but I see this country has a bigger, brighter future. So, although there are effects on lower level,
Mm-hmm.
I see the brighter side.
Okay. How would you say that moving to Scotland has affected your life?
It's mostly positive.
Mm-hmm.
Though it is a far way to keep in touch with the dearest and nearest back home.
Mm-hmm.
When the families are sick and unwell, it takes time to get back to. And being in the UK, we have to work hard, long hours. So that does give a little bit of, that does need a little bit of thought and planning. Apart from that, so far, we're doing well and have not found huge struggle.
Do you think in general that immigration has had a positive impact on Scotland?
I would think so, because Scotland has shortage of, I believe, shortage of labour force, and I hear lots of positive voices that we need to be part of the global society and global economy, which I support. So hopefully, although we are closely interlinked to the Westminster government, hopefully, Scotland can decide when it comes to critical issues.
And do you think that, have you seen a change of opinions or attitudes in the last few years with the different referendums that have happened?
In a short term, yes, but in longer term, people eventually, I notice people eventually forget those hassles and this animosity and carry on with your life.
Right.
So that's the mentality, I would say British Scottish mentality, is hopefully it's a positive one. But the impact, while it was happening, was, yes, I could see.
Right.
And sometimes I would involve myself as well. So, but I always see the horizon rather than the short-term impact or short-term effect. So yes, it's been a short-term one, but longer-term, I think I always see positive.
And has your opinion about Britain and Scotland changed at all?
Yes and no, again. Yes, in a sense, some group of British or even Scottish people have become less welcoming and I would say more. There's a gap. Yeah, it's creating a little bit of gap. It depends on individual and community. If we are happy to be part of the discussions, be part of the solutions, and then they're welcoming. So it all depends on individuals and organizations, the minority groups. So who knows what the future is, but it all depends on the people.
Great.
I believe. That's my belief.
Mm.